Hi everybody, it's Kathy here from Kathy Loves to Scrap with my next layout, and today it's another series 14 from Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches, and it's day 5 from the wonderful pineapple papers. And I actually rotated this sketch and flipped it so that it suited my photos, and this is the layout I created of my girls at Christmas time up at the Hunter Valley Gardens. I'm also including it in a Cybercrop challenge for Kidaholics this Easter on Facebook. So the 5 things that I've chosen are 2 different ribbon types, some Nouveau drops and some enamel drops, and these lovely rosette flowers which I use to build up my layout. I have my photos, of course, and this very old paper. It is very cute. It's dots and it matches well, and it's a Daisy D's, so that's how old it is. It's a really old paper, and I've gone with the cardstock for my framing as always. I have been asked what cutter I used recently, and I just want to let you know that I use a Fiskus slide cutter. It has a metal guideline down the middle of the cutter to make sure that your cuts are straight and true, and I find it to be a very versatile tool. I've gone around the edges of my page with some Distress Oxide. The one I used, I always refer to is Candied Apple, and I like the red that it brings out. I've gone and got a plate because this one I'm adding a little bit different to, and for one of my circles I decided that I would use some gold foil leafing, and this is a new thing that I've started to play with and I'm actually enjoying it. And I'm using this adhesive which I have been using for a while now, and it's Express It, and it's called Gold Size, and you just brush it on to the surface that you want to add the gold foil to, and you let it dry for about 15 minutes. I'm using the end of my paintbrush because I want it around the circle and I have control. You could use a toothpick, you could use anything with a fine point really to trace your outline, because wherever the glue goes, that is where the foil will stick. So it's really important that you keep the surface clean and tight to where you want it to be. As you can see, I'm just going back and removing the big thick globs of the product, because I just don't want big globs of the gold foil when I'm finished. So I have used that one. There it is, the Express Gold leaf, and I'm now letting it dry for the 15 minutes. Once that's done, I've gone and got my gold leaf. That's also from Express It, and it's an Australian company that I use. And I'm putting down the gold leaf around my page. I'm not too particular. I spread it. I know other people are particular and probably do it a lot neater than I, but I'm a bit rustic and a bit rough. So I'm just going over where the glue is, not putting it anywhere that the glue isn't, and I'm using up the leaf to make sure that I'm getting the most out of it. So just roughing up the circle with it, and you just make sure that you've laid it. This stuff sticks to you really, so be careful when you're using it. I then get the other end of my paintbrush, which is a dry rough end paintbrush, and I am going to go around the circle now and make sure that the gold is attached to the adhesive, and I'm cleaning up the circle. And as you can see, as I sweep away the excess of the gold leaf, put it away because it's expensive and it's something that you can use over and over, I pick it up, put it back in, but it clings. Be careful because it clings everywhere and it flies everywhere because it is so light. You can see that the gold leaf circle is in place now, and it looks effective around the page, and it actually gives it another dimension and a mixed media background. So I'll seal that up because that likes to fly, and I have my circle. That's the first one. Now I'm going to overlap my plate with the second one, and then I'm going to do a third one, which is a bit tricky when your plate and your circle is so big, but because of my photos, I've chosen big photos. I always end up using different sized photos to the layout recommendation. I've put them into place so that I can now work those. And in pencil you can always rub out any guidelines that are left. I'm just going to mark in where these photos are going to sit roughly. As you can see, I've double mounted one photo and single mounted the other, and that pops it up off that background. And when you put in your busy contrast to the back, you'll see why that's necessary to sometimes do that. I just put these pencil marks in, and they're just a little guide to myself, so I know roughly when I'm placing the elements where they're going to sit in the circle. And I've gone with a second circle being a gold ribbon with leaves, and that's going to be like a vine around it, so that's giving it, because it was in the gardens and it was Christmas time, so the gold reflects that and the colours reflect the Christmas feel and the vibe of the time. So I'm just put down my tacky glue, which is great because you can manipulate it until it dries totally, and it holds all materials, which I find is very good. And I'm using this vine ribbon and I'm unraveling it and untwisting it because it does tend to get a little bit twisted due to the fact that it's got leaves on both sides of the vine. And I've closed up that second circle. Now my third circle I'm just doing as a faux stitching with the red, so it matches in with the border of the page and my distress inking around the edges. So this is how I fill in my third circle. Now that I've got that done, I can place my photos and you can see that they just sit in there and hug the page nicely. I am using my Express It tape to put it down. I put that into place. And I'm just going to use my awl here to lift the leaves of the gold vine over the top of the photo so they overlap. Then I put it on the second one, and I didn't pop any photos this time, I've just left them flat because I have the dimension with these rosette flowers. And these I've been carrying in my stash for a while, and I thought they'd be perfect in this layout because the circles are textured and not flat, they're dimensional, so these flowers add that dimension and balance it out. So I'm building my clusters here, and I'm tucking those in underneath those border flowers, and they look really effective there, and the colours are reflecting the colours from the background paper. I now have taken my third element here, the flower ribbon, but I'm not going to use it in whole. I'm just going to trim it down to use the flowers around the rim, and these are just gorgeous daisies, and they make the wreath look continuous. So I've added those onto the page, and then I've gone with my Nuvo drops to build up around it. So that's my other element in my Grab 5. And as you can see, the layout is coming together nicely. Now I'm going to go in, and I've gone with my Cricut and I've cut the title Sugar and Spice because I have three very different girls, three very different levels of sugar and spice, that's for sure. One very girly, one tomboy, and the older sister who is now married but is a mix of the both. So it's an interesting combo with my three girls. This here I've added some tags that I've created down the bottom. One's going to become my journaling tag. I've popped up my title so that it sits above the photo and above the wreaths. And I have got two banner tags at the top which are part of the sketch, and I've tied it in there, and that's to draw your eye to the top of that photo. Alright, so I'm just going to quickly rub out any of the pencil marks that you can see, and because they were light, it's easy to remove and they don't mark the page. Now I'm going to hand journal, and I like to hand journal when I can. It's quicker and easier, but it's also reflective of my writing at the time, and that's important because in the future I think everything will be digitalized and handwriting will be a thing of the past, a historic thing, and that's what my scrapbook is, living history of what it is, so that in the future they know. I've added in these enamel dots to finish off my clusters and build the dimension of the page and to reflect the dots that are in the paper. So you can see how this page has come together quite easily. My videos do get sped up. They take me a while to make, and then I edit out all the dead space because you don't really want to be watching that. So here's my layout. day 5 of the Christie's Beautiful Life Sketch Challenge. There's my cluster up there in the corner. You can see the enamel dots, and you can see where I've used the Nuvo dots to lift and reflect the enamels and the spots in the paper. And that's my page. I hope something here inspired you, something different with the gold foil. This is what it looked like as a sketch, and this is my interpretation of it with my photos. Just like how they all changed. Down below is a list of people who've also played along with this sketch. You might want to check out some of their videos. If you found anything good, go to my Instagram page where all my layouts are. Leave me a like if you like this video. I'm Kathy from Kathy Loves to Scrap, an Aussie mum from down under,